Hello and welcome to another edition of the Low Code Café, number 19 today. It's quite a bit of journey, a marathon of this kind of Low Code Café. We actually have an internal joke right now that we are going to start a Netflix series on low code. So that will be what we are doing here. Cool. So today, again, we'll continue our series with hands-on low-code development and also showing what's coming. But before that, I wanted to give you an overview of where we are right now, because maybe if you are new to this webinar, it will be news to you. But otherwise, if you've been here, you know what we've been doing so far, and it will be like a quick, very good update to hear. So, the biggest thing that happens with us in the past 3-4 weeks or so is that we open up investment in our company to anyone to own a stake of it. And so far we had very, very good feedback, very, very good commitment from people in our community, from investors, angel investors outside. And right now we are closing to 100K, so that is like a big psychological milestone that we are just about to reach, hopefully by the end of this week. So again, thanks everyone for that committed, that believes in us, trusts in the vision that we have, both for the future of GNN, but also as a disruptive player in the low-code space. One other thing that I want to mention, and it's something that I would like to ask anybody that has good ideas not good ideas, any ideas, there are no good or bad ideas, anyone that has ideas to help us with. And you probably know, and saw this on the page, if you visited, that we have this $500 perk. So besides getting equity, when investors put money, they also get some perks. And with these $500 perks, what we want to do is give people training in low code. I mean, we try to make it more social here in the sense that somebody can sponsor for somebody else to get training in low code and enter the digital IT economy, right? So we built a nice component, social component around it, and we are already discussing with some groups, some training schools that do this on a regular basis, like taking people that are excluded, they don't have proper training, getting them in a 2 to 4 weeks program, and then at the end of it, they know how to build business systems, right? So, but this is a program that we want to formalize in the coming months to have like an official training program with official certification and so on. So it's going to be the next big thing in our let's say onboarding people into building complex systems with Plant and App. So then, I mean, any feedback is very, very good to design this program, so it helps. Most of you probably felt the pain of getting into Plant Amp, the first steps, and then that feedback is very good. What should we prepare? So those 4 steps are not such a big pain. Those 4 steps are a breeze, So that will be very good feedback. And to send it to us, we can discuss it here in the chat. Send me an email. Let's connect. We can arrange a Zoom meeting, discuss, and so on. Cool. So yeah, that's one thing that a very big thing that happened. And then I will keep the other nice thing for just a few minutes. Getting back to this webinar, for those of you that are new, this is like we do it every week, and we try to do it for the community and for the team. So it's very technical. You learned a lot. You can ask questions, learn even more, right? And also get some regular updates of what we are working on, what's new, what's exciting us. All these webinars are recorded. They are published on our YouTube channel. So feel free to visit, subscribe, and you can see past editions. We put chapters on each edition, so you don't have to watch an entire hour, the entire season, so to speak. You can just watch the parts of the webinar that interest you most, like the low code part or the updates part, or just the intro part to see me speak. Cool. And we usually have like a regular agenda, and you'll get to notice it. And now, before giving it to Reza to give us some product roadmap updates, Reza is leading our product development team. I wanted to share a bit of article that Reza did for a Romanian newspaper, one of the biggest one, on the financial aspects. And it was very, very good. Why I'm saying this, because Reza has a very good perspective on both US market, but also working with a Romanian team, right? Very closely, I mean, being part of the same team. So then it's a unique perspective, a cultural perspective as well. I appreciated it very much. It was a lot of interesting things to me as well, you know, and Plant and App started in Romania. I am Romanian. So then if you are interested, like, to get more in depth with the culture, I really recommend this interview to everyone. So that's all I had to say. I will give it up to Reza. Oh, give me a second. I think I should allow participants to start video. Cool. You should be all set now, Reza.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Bogdan. Yeah, it was a really cool experience and for me, and really good conversation. It went really quick, and yeah, if anyone's interested, there was a lot of neat stuff we talked about in there. So if you want to kind of just hear the perspective of where we're headed, where low code is headed, that sort of thing, check it out. In the meantime, I just want to give a quick update on the current release 110. We are still doing our darndest to track towards what I had put out as the dates last week. Already starting to make some things available to people that are needing them now as part of the release candidate. We're pretty much wrapping things up. It's just a very big release. I think the biggest one we've had this year as far as impactful features and fixes and things that are coming out. So new skin, one-click licensing, calendar view, new fields, ability to rearrange fields, whole lot of neat things happening in the KPI dashboard and the analytics space, and feeling really good about hitting the ground running when DNN 9.8 comes out and having support for that and no one encountering any issues there. So just hang in there a little while longer. Like I said, we're in UAT right now and just making sure everything now has come together in a complete package. And when it's all put together, it's working great and dialed in. And we were just speaking as a team right before this call and wanted to share just what does the rest of the year look like, the next couple releases. Going to really focus in on, again, polishing what we've done this year. So much has been done and we've come a very long way this year. And so having all these great features and all these great components, and we've been iterating on those and bringing more and more into it. Going to take a little bit of a pause on new features, new things, and really just make sure that what we have now works really great, and that everyone has a really good onboarding experience with the platform, that all the dots connect and one thing flows great from the other, that when no matter where you click, you have confidence that everything's going to work first time out of the box. And so that'll be kind of what we do the rest of this year, which will put us in a really good spot then in January to kind of resume and take things to the next level. So we had a lot of disparate little pieces and things when this year started, and those have really matured and come together. Now we just kind of want to polish that overall experience and get into a good spot so that as we add new things, we're moving forward always and not taking a step back because, oh, we touched this here and it broke something back there. So a lot of focus on stability, on good error handling and reporting, security, this sort of stuff coming in 2020. So stick with us. I think you're going to really like this next release. And like I said, what we'll do the rest of the year is just make what you have now be even better. And that's kind of it for this week. And if there's no questions, I'll yield the floor here.
Yep. So I don't see any questions yet, but if they come up, we'll revert. Cool. So I will leave Dale that leads our support team to take it from here, to give us the from the trenches part with stories that happen on the support channels, and then he'll follow directly into the hands-on part with Radu. Reza, you have the word.
Okay, can we hear me now?
Yep.
Great. So I have, and I'm sorry, make sure you can see my screen as well.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, great. I have just pasted onto the chat some of the things I'm going to talk about today. So if you're interested in looking and following up on some of the things that are part of today's, please look there on the chat. A couple of things that I want to talk about. One, we continue to put out the low-code feature focus videos, and this last one was using automation. So this is the automation, or the DNN Sharp scheduler, and so it's kind of an introduction to automation, and it's really kind of an interesting use case because I signed up for a free weather API and we ended up receiving data from them. And so the result is, for example, I've laid all the groundwork to build a let me know when it's going to freeze in my neighborhood kind of an application. So it automatically keeps up with the weather data by itself. The low code feature focus videos are I pasted the link, so you can get to these. This one is a little longer than normal because it really walks through the whole process. So it's a 12-minute video, but I think it's worth your time if you're trying to understand how to use automation or Sharp scheduler. Today, when we get into the hands-on part of this talk today, Radu is going to get into using embedded forms, and those are useful for lead generation and marketing kind of things. But there's really, your imagination is the limit to where we can go with that. So to just kind of introduce the topic, I'm going to show some about embedding forms, and so we'll capture some information and download a custom PDF. So one of the links that I provided was to the spot within our documentation where it talks about how we can do this and how you can then embed these forms, not just in DNN, but any content or website that takes standard HTML code. So we'll get into that. So here's my case. Well, we have a form. We have a .NET Nuke implementation, and I've got just a text box here that says, please sign up for our mailings. In return, you'll gain immediate access to a customized document. So we're going to have a form drop in here, but this is just HTML. So we'll get back to this page and drop the HTML in here, or we're going to drop the form in here in a little while, but let's develop the form. So I have a blank page, and I'm going to drop an action form onto the page. The action form, I'm going to manage it for the first time, and I'm going to choose to do a contact form. That's pretty close to what I want to accomplish. And so we'll use that as a starter, and I'm going to rename this as lead capture form. Always like to provide a name. It's useful when you're trying to work with it. So I'm going to save it from there, and then we'll start making just a few modifications. This form automatically comes in with first name, last name, email, a few things like that, and a send now button. So for my implementation, I don't really want to send any emails. So I'm going to take off the standard the actions that are related to clicking the send now button. And instead, I'm going to add some actions. And so what I want to do is I want to send them a PDF. I want to give them immediate access to a PDF that is, it just happens to be our Plant an App offering. And so we'll be using this URL here in a minute to do that. So the first thing we'll do is a server action and a server request. And this will be the Republic page. And so the parameters for that, it asks for a URL. So I'm going to grab that URL and paste it here. Whoop, here. And I'm going to say that it's going to be SSL. This is going to be a get method. I don't have to tell it any data of any sort. And from an output perspective, I'm going to call this the Republic page. And I'm going to copy that because I'm going to need it in the next step. So there was a question that came up to the support desk this week. When do we use brackets around things, and when we just name things? And we're going to work to improve the documentation in that standpoint. But if we need replacement to happen, then we put brackets around it. I want to name this new variable Republic page. I don't want any expansion to happen, so I'm not going to put brackets around it. The next action I'm going to do is a PDF. So I don't want to add a field. I'm sorry, I want to add an action. So I am going to generate a PDF with my page, and I'm going to customize it a little bit. So this is a custom document for first name, last name. These are the fields that were collected on the form. And then I'm going to expand the Republic page right underneath that. So we're going to have a nice PDF that's customized for the user and has the content that we grabbed on the internet. I just happen to know after a little bit of experimentation that this is going to look pretty good in a ledger format. So I'm going to change the size of that. And I'm going to store this as the Republic URL. That's where this document is going to get created. And the final action that I'm going to do is to send them the file. So I'm going to redirect them to a URL, and I'm going to redirect them to the Republic page and force download. So, and let's save that. So just as an overview, I've just customized this form to have three actions: go get the page, generate a PDF, send it to them. And so now let's go back to the original question. We are going to make this be an embeddable form. We're going to be able to use it anywhere. That feature is one that's hidden in the advanced settings. So if we go down to advanced settings and find the embed option and just check that box, we're presented with the script that's necessary to embed that. All we need to do is a copy and paste. So here again, I'm going to save the form and go back. So now I'm on the page where I did the design. I'm going to flip back to the page where we have this HTML, and I'm going to edit the lead capture HTML and just paste that that VB script into the document and save. And if anything, it did work. So we have that script displayed on URL, made that lead capture form appear on our mailings page. And now I'm going to fill it in. So when I click send now, this is subscribing them to our emailings. In theory, we could create the link that does that, but we really focused on delivering the PDF to them. And so it's processing and going out and generating that custom PDF. And in a minute, we'll get the download. In a minute, we'll get the download. All right, you might have to trust me on this one. And maybe I made a mistake. So let's go back and take a look. We build in these mistakes intentionally, by the way, so that you can see how to work with these things. Yeah, I clicked the force download, so I don't know why it's not working. It didn't work. Anyway, I won't. I'm going to give it one more time here. I'm going to refresh the form and see if I can make it go. And if not, you'll have to trust me. But in any case, I demonstrated the primary purpose of the form, which was of the discussion, which was to display this form in using HTML. So that can be added. That VB script that came off of our form can be added anywhere. And that's from the trenches today. We're going to tag in Radu to take it from here.
All right, hello. Let me share my screen really quickly. All right, it should be here. All right. So Dale, the first thing I would like to do today is to get back a little bit on the last episode where I didn't have the time to finish properly. So I just want to show everyone how that dynamic form generation ended up and how the data is actually being saved. So remember, if you remember last time, where is it here? We had the option of the action of generating dynamic action forms based on some configurations that we are saving in the entities, and we were stuck. Well, not stuck, but we finished the last episode when we were clicking the submit button. We, instead of saving the data into another entities, we are showing an error message with all the values here. What I did from until the last episode was I created another dynamic form, another ID. So I've just added another two fields and created some new entities for me to store those actual informations. So if you give me a few minutes, I can show you the new entities that I created. So they're called response form submissions. So each individual contact that is going to submit one of those forms is going to have a submission, and a submission itself will have multiple answers dynamically based on what the definition of the dynamic form was. So if I go really quickly here, I can show you. So I just gave them a random name. What's the definition? So this submission for what dynamic generation is actually. Also, who completed the dynamic form. So remember, we were passing the contact ID via the URL and the list of answers that this contact gave us. And the answers themselves are a combination of what question are you answering for and what was your response. So each time, let me open maybe a new tab here. So we have the whole idea of an answer is to match an answer with the specific question. All right. So how this looks in practice. So I have the two entities that I just showed you, the response form submissions and the answers below. But what I'm interested in this specific situation, I want to show the response form submission, how it looks. So each time you submit a new entry, I give it a random name, dynamic submission. I know what the response form was. I know what's the contact, and I will also have the different answers. So if you have a look here, this one is the generic questions, and this one is the simple feedback form. And to do this, you can see those are the answers that. So this is the name, this is the response form, and this is the contact, and this is their answers. And keep in mind, you can start modifying the forms, and those answers are going to persist. And if you have questions like what old are you, and those are numbers or something like that, you can start doing also reports over those informations. And you see here this submission that I'm showing you here is having other answers, but they are both let's say an infinite number of forms with different questions can be stored in just two entities, and you can apply after that some reporting over them. And maybe I can also give you a small idea of how the saving actually happens. So regarding to the last episode, the finishing of the last episode, what I'm doing right now is I'm creating a new submission form. So here is where I'm giving it the dynamic name. I know the response based on what was in the query string. I know what the contact is. After that, I'm loading all the answers, and for each answer that I have in the form, I'm creating a new response. A new response. Oh, I think I mistyped form to from. I'm sorry. So response from form answer. I'm creating a new answer, and then I'm assigning the answer to the newly created response form submission. So kind of that simple.
Yeah, so the technical problem here is the questions are dynamic, so we have to loop through the questions and answer fields to send that information to the table.
Yeah, exactly. So in the same way I'm generating them, and I encourage people to have a look at the previous episode. The same way I'm generating, I know what fields I need to put in the form. That's the same mechanism. I know what fields I need to grab from the form back. All right. If there are there any questions?
I think there's one that you're going to get to later, so jump right in.
All right. Okay, so now getting back to the embedded forms, what I will try to do today is, well, exiting the edit mode. That will be the first thing I need to do. I will try to add contacts into the system with the help of embedded forms. And not only that, I will try to create a contact and also assign the contact automatically to the contact to a list, so we can send email campaigns to them. What I did in preparation for that, I created a new page where I set up a simple form. This form has the same fields that are required for the contact grid to work. So it's basically a copy of this, but I just put it on another page. And a very important thing, I made this page in specific, I made it public because I would like this page to be delivered or other websites. And because I want those websites to be able to see the page, I need to make the page public. So this is an important aspect that you need to have when using embedded forms. Otherwise, the form is not going to load, and you're going to get an error message, and it's going to require you to log in, and it's going to be a mess. Okay, so exactly how Dale also presented you, I went to my settings, I've enabled the embedded code, and what I did is I created this new page, which is called embedded container, where I can find the same, I can find the same form that you saw earlier on the contact embedded form. But this is on the same website, so why should I, embed a form in my own website when I already have a page with a perfect functional form? So yeah, this maybe doesn't actually make sense now, because yes, you have the form, but just for the testing, for demo purposes, I just wanted to have two systems, different systems that have this embedded form. So this is the one that I'm developing is the actual the first system, and the second system that I have it's here, and it's another Plant and App instance where I just created a page, and just give it a second. I think the website was sleeping.
Sure. So you're going to happen to put this into a different Plant and App website, but it could go into any kind of website.
Any website. It was just the easiest, the simplest, the easiest way for me to provide this. So the one thing I want to mention, keep in mind the URLs are different from this to this. So those are absolutely different systems. All right, so let's go back to the website where I'm planning also to develop, and let's go back to the contact form itself. So imagine we want to capture some new contacts to add them on our list. But as you can see, maybe in one field in particular here, the source, you cannot ask someone where they came from, where they came from, where did they completed this form, and where did you got the contact itself. They can lie, they can leave it empty. It's gonna just be it's not needed. Maybe at the same time, the email type can be the same problem. Maybe if you know that you're requesting business emails or personal emails, you can not have this in the form. But at the same time, we are interested in this information to capture over contact, so we can know who our target clients are, or other informations that are actually relevant for us. So what are our options right now? So the first and the easiest way, and I'm just gonna leave all the other fields for the moment being, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna do some work on the source field. A very easy way to do this, it will be to go and edit the form, and we can hard code the source. We can say, I don't want this to be a field that people can fill. So an option it will be to go to the text and say, I want this to be a hidden field. And I can specify that this the source itself is gonna be I don't know, let's say first test. So we're first demo. Okay, so this is an option that we have at this moment. I can click save. I can click refresh, and you see the field disappeared. Also on my other Plant and App instance, the field disappeared. And if I start filling in the information here, okay, thank you as well. I can go in my contacts and I can see that, well, I got the source as being the first demo without letting the end user filling it. But this only works, well, let's put it in another way. This works if you are planning to have different forms for different, I don't know.
Sure, it's not dynamic. It works well to collect the source if you're defining one form for one place.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
If we want to make it dynamic, where one form can serve many websites, and we know the source is going to be, where did this thing come from? That's where you're headed now.
Yes, exactly. So, and again, here I'm going to show you some other tricks regarding this. I'm sorry, what happened here? Let me show you. Oh, I'm not on the. Oh, my bad. I'm not on the proper. All right. Another thing that you can do, and this is an interesting trick that I found out. Let me copy first. You can, each individual iframe can have, let's call it settings or parameters. If I copy the script code here and open it in my Sublime here, you can see this here is an URL, except the other, well, there are other parameters, but this is an URL to my page, and this is a simple URL that has query string values. And what you can do, you can go at the end here, and what you can do is say source equals local, and I can copy this, and let's duplicate this one, and let's say LCC embed, and let's maybe not local, let's name this marketing website. So what I have right now here, I have two scripts that both perfectly work, but it's a difference. The URL that I'm accessing the actual page has some information in it. So if I go now and copy the script with marketing website, and I'm gonna go and change it in my embedded container here locally on the marketing. Let me, all right, give me once. Oh, I think, right, give me 1 second. I think something is not. All right, so this is the script that I have on this page. I'm just gonna replace it with my new one that has the source here. And I also am gonna go on my, I'm gonna go on my external website and do the same thing here also. But the difference is here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the second code that has the LCC embed code inside. And 1 second to copy this. All right, let's save here as well. All right, and now I'm gonna go back. I need to go back to my contact embedded form. So maybe I think they'll figure it out. What I'm trying to achieve right now here is the fact that because the iframe URL has a query string, that means that I can access that query string via tokens. So instead of having the initial value first demo, I can go and say query string source. And now this, what this gonna happen is gonna pull the information that I specified on the URL of the embedded code, and each time I submit one of the form, even if it's on the marketing platform, on the LCC embed, let's give it a try. So let's fill this in with my, let's make a difference. This is marketing, and I'm gonna click add, and let's fill this in as well. And this is LCC embedded. Cool. Close enough. And I can click add. And now if I go and check my contacts, you can, I think all right. I think the one from the marketing, I didn't refresh the page, so I didn't save something properly, but the one remoted, so the code. So let me do another test locally on here, marketing to a business, and add it again. And if I check my if I check my contacts, I should have, oh, it's empty. Well, if it's empty, that means I most likely mistyped something, or mistyped something, or I didn't properly save the embedded container here. So let me paste this again. Oh, it rendered. That's not what I wanted. Come on, get there.
So with that technique, you can, in this case, we're statically passing parameters on the URL as we're setting up the reusability of this form. If the system that you're working with has the ability to do substitution, like tokens, then you could even dynamically pass in information into this form. So it really opens up being able to reuse the form and reuse it in a kind of a wide way.
Yep. And that's, let me see if this, yes, you can do that. Is my technical issue. I don't know what the technical issue is here, to be honest. I'm not
sure. All right, you got one of them to work. So we proved the concept.
Yeah, so what I can do, I can delete those so no one will know I failed. Right. Another thing that so yeah, the source can be something that you specify manually. That's fine. That's definitely fine. But what about what if you can get the URL from where the URL from where the form was submitted? So in this case, I'm interested to know that somehow I'm using this form on this specific page. So for this one, what we can do, it will be to go to the tokens, search for the token named URL, and the referrer is the one that we are looking for in this situation. And going back to my contacted button form and edit it really quickly, I can specify the source now as this token. And now we are going to have different URLs that are actually our source. So you can start having other type of, you start not having only the source, you kind of start having a little bit of tracking of your embedded forms. All right, so this is the, let's use the one that I'm having on the other system. Okay, email type, business, and let's click add and go back to my contacts. Can you see? Now I know the URL from where I'm submitting the embedded forms. So this is, I hope this is a cool thing. All right. So why I showed you this is because sometimes you want to store more information that you want a form to have, and especially in the embedded forms, you're kind of constrained because you are in a small window inside the window. So getting those informations out, like the email type, if I know that I'm only requesting business types for the moment, or I want a form I want my embedded form for the moment to only register business emails, I can just hide this and hard code that value. Or if I want, and this is an interesting thing that I want to show you. Maybe I can go on the contact embedded form and create a new form. How about having, so those modifications that I did here, I did them manually, but how about having another action form that generates this code for you? Because I think having this information right here, you can just do some clicks here and there, and you just generate a new code. So how this is going to happen, help you, is maybe you can enable other partners or other entities that are working with your company to get their own forms. Doesn't need necessarily to be a new contact form, but new forms from your system. They can submit information directly from their website to your website. You don't need to email that stuff anymore, or pass huge Excel files over the emails or over the internet. You can just enable people to work together in the same system, even though they have different other systems by themselves. So let me show really quickly how we can create a form that generates other embedded forms. What I can, well, not here, I assume. Let me add a new action form on this page. I know it's, well, not this, well, it shouldn't be on this page specifically, because remember, this page is public. So I will just need maybe to create a new set of, a sandbox sandbox page, or I don't know. Oh, well, no, let's call it embedded in
generate link, something like that.
Yeah, embedded form generator. Let me copy this, the title as well. Let me really quickly put an action form here. All right, and let me configure it really quickly. So the first things first, it will be, let's say for this occasion that we are interested in specifying what? Specifying the let's, I don't know, let's say the email type. Let's say the email type. So I need a drop down. All right. I'm gonna call it email type. All right. Go a little bit. Let's set this to be a SQL. Select ID as value and name as text from app dot where are my contact statuses? Not status, sorry, email types. All right, so email type. Okay. And let me add a large text field, and I'm going to call this well, copy this script. I will need also not a color picker. I need a button. Let me rearrange those really quickly. Well, maybe let me remove that color picker. I'd like to put the submit button here. Do a bootstrap, that's fine. Just made it to be at the top and click save. Now, the things that we need to do right now is go to well, maybe I moved too fast, so let me show you a little bit what we got until now. So we have the email types where from you can choose, and you can click submit button and you can get a copy of the script that enables you to add the email type to the query string, so you don't need to bother with that anymore in the future if you want to do something like this. So all right, so let me go to the, let's say here, this is my code where I have the source, and in this situation, I'm just gonna say I want my email type equals, and I want my email type to be equal to the email type field, which is actually called the same in this situation. So I'm just gonna take this from here, and what I would like to do, and copy this script. I would like to go to the button, and I want to say inject data. So I want to create a new variable in the execution flow, and this variable, actually, I'm going to give it the name of the field where I want to push the information to. So I'm going to give it the same name. I'm going to copy my script in 1 second. I'm going to copy the script here, which has our new token. And the last action is called update form data ajax. So what this is going to do, all the variables in the execution context that have the same name as one of the fields is going to get the values that were in the execution flow. So I'm going to go and click save really quickly. Refresh this. And I'm just going to say, hey, I want my code to enable email types of type business, and I can click submit. So you see the email type is ID1 right now. So I don't need to search what was the ID. Now that we have this specific script, what we can copy that, go to our external external.
Embedded form.
Yep, exactly. I can paste this. Okay, I'm just gonna click save, and I'm gonna go back to my embedded form generator, and I'm gonna say for the one that I've generated here locally, I want this to be temporary, and I'm just gonna click submit and copy my new code. So see the email type here just changed, and you can add as many fields as you want. It's the same rule. I can copy this again and go to my local form. This is not my local, this is my local form. Sorry, this is the actual form. Okay, give me a second to copy this also. All right. Let me put this here. It seems like something is not saving properly here. So maybe if I go for the HTML mode. Okay. And now let's go to our actual form and do a small change. Let's say that the information that I set up in the URL via my generator, I like that to be the initial value. So what I will do is pre-select a value for them based on the value that I have on my query string. So I'm just gonna say query string dot email type. So if it's gonna find the query string email type on the URL, that in that situation is gonna pre-select something for me. All right, and I would like to refresh this one and this one. Keep in mind, different systems, same form. So this is business as I wanted, and this is, it seems like something from the query string is not sticking up with this setup here. I'm not sure why, but so, yes, I can predefine settings, I can hide fields, I can get my referrer. Please, Dev.
Yeah, so you again prove the point that the generator is a cool feature if you were defining a marketing system to be able to generate links automatically, so that perhaps your end user doesn't really need to understand how. It's just a copy and paste scenario, and the power of those dynamic things. There's a couple of questions, and I think the one that I got it from a couple of people was, can you embed a form in the row of a grid, of an action grid?
I think not in the row, but in the detail view.
In the detail view, yes. From my knowledge, what I know is you cannot have multiple iframes at the same time to the same page. This is our plant and app limitation. So the trick to do this, it will be to have it in a detailed view of an action grid. So let's
well, and don't feel like you have to do it. I think that's a great answer. We're kind of coming close on time, but that really just, it's great to see the light bulbs going off here as we're presenting and getting the same question from multiple people. So it's really a very it just shows the power of what's going on with low code.
One thing, if I may, that I would like to show everyone, and it's related actually to this question. And I'm just gonna go to the grid really quickly. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Action Grid also has this feature. So to answer the question, you can have action forms in action grids on the same website. I personally used action grids in action grids to drill down some more information. And I think at some point I use an action form in an action form. So I kind of used all the combinations. With
okay, now my head's exploding. That's great.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So my main idea was the fact that I can get an action grid to the other system here, and I can put an action grid embedded and filter it only to see the entries that that form on their site specifically provided. But maybe for the next episode we can have this offline and we can present in the last episode of this marketing Netflix series.
Our 1 hour live television show every week. Thanks for putting up with us, guys. Bogdan, you want to close us out?
Yep. Very, very interesting stuff. And actually, when we started to build this marketing system, we envisioned that it's something that we want to use. We have a similar system we've been using it for years, much simpler, and we want to replace it. It's pre-plant and app days, so it was a lot of more manual stuff. So I think in a few weeks' time, will be our marketing system. So when you'll get a notification from us, you'll know that, yeah, I know how they do it. Cool. So just to close this one, we are on time. So thanks, guys, for making it on time. So it's comfortable for everyone. It's been nice seeing all of you again here. We'll be seeing each other next week as well, I hope. And as always, we greatly appreciate feedback. So feel free after this webinar to fill out the form that's coming to you, or just drop us an email on how we can improve this weekly series to deliver more valuable content to you. So thank you, and see you again next week.